Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is David, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can go from zero with no experience to your first 10K with your SMMA or your agency or your service-based business in the first 7 days. Now, the reason I'm making these videos is because I see a lot of brain rot in this space. People are teaching stuff from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. There is a lot of information that just simply doesn't work anymore that a lot of people are using. The reason I know that is because I'm a business owner and people pitch me 24/7 all day, every day with garbage offers, and I don't want you to be one of them. So that being said, I'll preface this with a quick story about when I started my agency. So in 2020, in December, I was still working my sales job. I was in corporate sales. I closed just shy of $40 million. It was $39.7 million in outbound deals. It was 890 deals. Put a screenshot on the screen here just so that you guys know that I'm telling the truth. And I basically said to myself, I said, I can take the same skills that I have and that I'm doing every single day at this sales job that I'm working 12, 13 hours a day. Sometimes I'm putting up 100, 150 calls a day for. And I can take this and I can sell my own product and I think I can make more money. So I eventually found this space on Twitter that I'm a part of, and it's called Money Twitter. And I saw that people were starting businesses and they were doing, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month in these businesses. And they were teaching things that I knew more about, and specifically sales. And that's the reason why I started engaging in this space and why I started talking about it. Now, coming full circle, I took that same ability and I said, okay, I can sell something and I need to figure out what is going to be the lowest risk to the clients that I work with the highest potential upside for me. Little backstory about me. I worked in the fashion industry on the side for a little bit. I was a runway model. I'm fairly tall. I'm about 6'3.5", 6'4". And I knew a lot of fashion designers. And if you know anything about creative people, they are really bad at business and really bad at making money. Now, I was very good at sales. And I realized, okay, I can take this same sales ability that I've developed and that I've practiced, and I can start an agency business doing something that involves my expertise. And I settled at the time on email marketing for e-commerce brands and working with luxury businesses like fashion, like high-end furniture and things like that. So in December of 2020, I had the idea to start the business. I got the website up in a few hours, and literally day zero. And within the first 24 hours, I had the next day hit up all of the people that I knew in the fashion world that I was working in and just kind of having fun in. And I got my first client for $1,000 in 24 hours. So in actually less than 24 hours, like payment paid in full on the phone. I had no clue with what I was doing with doing the emails and all that stuff and doing copy. But what I did was I got paid and then I figured it out. So if the first lesson here is if you want to start making money, you have to get active, you have to start talking to people, and you have to get paid, and then you can then learn. Because there's no sense in what I see a lot of people do, like I said, this brain rot stuff, is a lot of people sit there and they consume YouTube videos, they consume content, and they consume all this stuff, and they sit there and they learn, and then they never put it into action and they never get paid for it. So I want you to be the opposite. And the reason I want you to be the opposite is because the bar is so low and it's very easy to succeed. The reason why is because if you figure out, okay, if I can get paid to do this thing that I'm saying that I can do, and then I figure it out, and then I focus all of my efforts after I get paid on going and generating the results, then not only are you going to have a case study, but you're also going to be somebody that stands behind their word. You get results for your clients and you get paid to learn. So that's lesson one. Now, when I went in on the business full time, it was 8 months later. So quick backstory, I quit my sales job in June of 2021 and I went to Europe. I had some fun because I had money saved up. And what I essentially did was when I came back, I went home to Philly where I'm from, and I sat there and I grinded it out and I started dialing and I started sending emails, and I had my first $10,000 in profit 21 days in the middle of September after I started going all in and full time on the business in August. All I did was I took my skill set, that same stuff that I can teach you in terms of sales, I took that, I applied it to the agency business, I had clients. Now, I'm saying in this video, you can do it in 7 days because the information and the internet has just democratized everything. There's so much information out there, but a lot of people really don't know what it is that they're doing. I can teach you basically to do this within 7 days because I want you to be better than me. And there's a lot of things that have changed, which not only has the saturation level of the market increased, but it's full of like people who don't know what they're doing. So it's very easy to stand out, but it's also easier to close deals because people are becoming more problem aware in the marketplace. Now, what you can basically do in 7 days is on day 0, the second lesson is to do all of the infrastructure first on the front end. The more time that you invest, and I'm not talking about months, but I'm talking about a matter of 10 to 20 hours here. The more time that you invest on the front end is going to make things easier for you on the back end. Now, I'm not applying this and I'm not telling you to do this where you sit there and you learn a service, you learn how to do all these intricate things, because what happens on sales calls of people that do that is they get too technical, they don't know how to sell it, they don't ask for the sale, and they're too focused on the back end before they've made any money. I want you, and the real point of the second lesson here is that I want you to focus on getting paid as fast as you possibly humanly can, and then learn and do all the research and then figure out how to deliver the service. That is going to, and make sure, caveat to this, make sure that you're doing everything that you possibly can to get the results that you say that you're going to get for your clients. Okay, that being said, next, lesson 3 is you want to under-promise and over-deliver. The reason for that is because everyone else is over-promising and under-delivering. And now a lot of these companies and a lot of these businesses and a lot of these brands are unfortunately being burned by all these shit munchers in the marketplace because they're promising them 25, 30% month over month returns with, let's say, email or with some sort of sales system or whatever it may be. You have to tell the clients on the phone, tell the prospect on the phone, look, I can't guarantee anything. The only thing that we can guarantee is that we're going to do our best. Because you need to set a differentiation and a duality between you and position yourself against all the other people that are pitching them in the marketplace. You need to have a clear, definitive boundary between the idiots that exist and you, who you're now positioning yourself as the expert. So, day 0, website, get all that stuff done. Day 1, usually, I would figure out on how to break down. If you watch another video from me that I just did, it's me basically breaking down the sales asset process and how to position yourself in the marketplace and how to basically walk through a process of a presentation that you can create that breaks down what it is that you do, how it works, why it works, how it makes money, and then how you can create your differentiation process by essentially breaking down your own process and your own thought process and then comparing it to the current things that a business or a prospect or a client has set up in their business. And you can use examples for that. You don't need to redo that for every different type of business or every single person that you pitch. That just takes too much time. You just want something that breaks down everything as in-depth as possible that you can send over, and then you start calling and you get active on the phone. People try to half-ass everything. People try to half-step. You should never make any small plans. You should always make big plans, and you should always shoot for the stars. Because if you make small plans, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if you make small plans, you're going to have small results. If you make big plans, you're going to have big results. And when you are half-stepping things, you're making small plans. If you're just like, oh, I'm scared to get on the phone, or I have fear, or I have doubt, or I have self-confidence, or I have imposter syndrome. If you're scared to get on the phone and get over that fear, you're never going to be as successful as you could be. Because if you didn't have that fear, and I want you to think, because Facebook has a thing on their wall and it says, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I want you to think about that watching this video. What would you do if you had no fear in your heart? What would you do if you knew that what you were doing was going to work? If you knew that every single time that you called somebody, you were getting paid something, you would call people to no end. And that's how I want you to think about cold calling, how I want you to think about your client acquisition process, and this is how you can do this fast. I'll give you an example. Lesson 4 is a mathematical breakdown example. Lesson 4 is you get paid on every single dial that you make. Every single email that you send, every single dial that you make, every single person that you talk to pays you. And they pay you in some way. They either pay you in money or they pay you in experience. The experience that you're going to get from the objections that you're going to get on the phone, what it's going to teach you is how to get better throughout your process, how to iterate your process, and how to validate your process. You always want to be thinking about what you're doing well, what you're doing not so well, what you could do to get better, and what you can put in place to get better. And then you have to think about what's holding you back from actually doing it and implementing those things that you want to implement. And this is how you audit your process. This is how you get better. This pays you an experience. Then once you get paid, let's say you do a $5,000 deal. Every single call that you make, let's say you make 100 calls and you get a $5,000 deal. Every single call that you made just paid you $50. Because out of the 100 calls that you made, you got one $5,000 deal, you converted one person, okay? Maybe it's a 1% conversion rate on a lead list of 100 people. You got paid $5,000. Every single one of those calls, if you divide a 100 into 5,000, you get 50. And every single one of those calls paid you $50. So there is no reason why you should be fearful on the phone. You should have no fear in your heart. You want to get as active as possible because, like I said, activity breeds sales. And that is the most important thing that I can ever teach you when it comes to making money, whether it's in person, whether it's on the internet. You have to get as active as possible. So if you want to go from 0 to 10K in 7 days and you want to get clients as fast as you possibly can, that is what you do. You make sure your branding is set up, your website's set up, you have something there, something that makes sense, something that looks fairly good. You can use my software if you want to go and put that up as fast as possible, or you can go use something like Card. That being said, next, you want to make sure that you have your sales asset presentation in a PowerPoint, in a PDF, something where people can click on it, they can look at it, or it's just sent as an attachment in a follow-up email, whether you talk to them on the phone or not. What that does is gives them all the information that they need in order to make a decision, walks you through what your service is, how it works, why it works, how it makes money, and then your thought process with some work examples that you can create. That takes about a day to do. It takes probably 4 to 6 hours if you sit there and you just focus on it, which is very, very, very fast. And then you spend the rest of the 6 or 7 days, because you can do all this on the first day, you spend the rest of the 6 days getting as active as possible, spending as much time as possible as you can to go out and acquire customers and get sales. You can use the sales stuff that I teach you. If you want to get the cold call script, click the link in the description. I have it here. It's completely free. And I have some other bonuses in there, like a leads and prospecting template. And it's basically a full mini course on outbound sales and cold calling. You can use that stuff. It'll help you make money, and I can guarantee that if you put this into practice and you do this every single day and you stay consistent throughout your process, you're going to become more confident on the phone. You're eventually going to become as hyper competent as possible, and you're going to know what works and what doesn't work, and you're going to get silky smooth on the phone and silky smooth throughout your process, and you're going to go out there and you're going to be able to get customers. And then when you have that full belief that what you're doing works and it gets results for your clients, and you have the full belief in yourself, where you get rid of that imposter syndrome, you are going to be convicted in your beliefs and who you are and what you do and the results that you can achieve. And that is going to make you successful. If that is how you do it, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I read all the comments. I respond to as many comments as I possibly can. Go ahead, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.